Hey, when you see found pen news, I was going to do a couple of exploration videos this weekend, and then I got all down in the weeds about all of my amazing flex nibs, and I couldn't choose. And so now I am doing a whole bunch of Flexploration, and I'm calling this one Flextravaganza. And I have 20 pens, maybe 21. I can't promise that they're all inked. I don't really know. But here is the first tray. I can't decide which ones to start with. I'm going to start with my very favorite ones first. Why not? Life's too short, right? So here is the first tray. This is my first tray of Flextravaganza pens. And so I'm going to start with a very special pen that I got. This is a flex nib. It's actually in a Bone Crusher Velma, but it's a flex nib that was done by Kirk Speer. It's called a Centurion, and you can see that cool thing. And so what I'm going to try to do is do all of these the same. So the brand is, I'm not going to put the pen brand if it doesn't matter. This is Kirk Speer Centurion. And don't get excited, he does not make these anymore. These are things that I got secondhand, and I am so excited. So one of the designations I'm going to do is flex or soft. This one is definitely flex, as you can see. I'm just going to do a quick little grid so you can see that this does regular writing just fine. And then the word that I like to write is lovely because it has ascenders and descenders. So you can see that. And then I'll do my little flourish that you can see. And so this has really good flow. It does have an ebonite feed on it, and I have it eyedroppered in this Bone Crusher. So that is the Flex Kirk Speer Centurion is the first one in the group. Then next I have two Scribos, and this one is, let's see, this one is, oh, and I should have brought my glasses. This is a Feel the Flex, extra fine. I think this is extra fine. We're going to try it. So this is Scribo. Come on, buddy. You know you have ink in you. There you go. Scribo. And this is extra fine. And it is their flex nib. So it is probably low on ink. That's why it's railroading. It doesn't usually do that. And I'll do a little grid here to show that it does fine with regular writing without any pressure at all. And I'll write my word. Some of these I checked to make sure they had ink, and some of them I thought, oh, they'll be fine. So this is one that probably should have had more ink put in it, but you can see that it has a really nice line variation. It just needs to be full of ink. Hot tip, you want your nibs to be full of ink, your pens to be full of ink if you want to do something like this. The next Scribo I have, I know this has ink in it because I just re-inked it. This is a Feel the Flex, and I think this one's medium. So these, the Scribo Flex nibs are 14K, and their regular nibs are 18K. So this one is Scribo. You can see it's a lot thicker line. This is a medium and also a flex. So there's less variation when you have a thicker nib to start with than if you have an extra fine. So we'll do a little grid here. This one's also fine for regular writing, but it, like I said, because it's a thicker nib to start with, it just puts down more ink and gives you less line variation than something that's like extra fine flex. So there is the Scribo Flex medium. And let's see, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put all these down so that I don't start them again. Okay, this, I have not tried to write with this. I'm going to try it over here real quick. This is a Opus 88. It might need a little water dippage. This one I might have to come back to here in a minute because I know there's ink in here, but it just needs to flow down. There we go. Now we may have gotten it. So this nib actually is a can write flex nib, And I think it's an extra fine. So I'm just going to write can write. And we're going to come back to this one. I don't think it has enough ink in it. We'll come back to can write. This is a very exciting nib that I've not really shown a lot on my channel. It's fairly new. This is an Opus 88, but it has a trick inside. What it has in it is a Pilot number 10 FA nib. It does have an ebonite feed from Flexible Nib Factory, but this has a Spencerian modification by Gena Salorino, and they did an incredible job on it. So I'm actually going to write Pilot because that's the brand of the nib. And this is FA, but it is Flex and Spencerian Mod. And I'll do a little grid here. So this one is so soft that it's a little bit more difficult to write everyday writing. But then when you do these little things, it's very nice. Gena usually has this at their table, and so you can try it out. It's not in this fancy yellow body, it's in just the regular black body. But as you can see, you can do very, very fine lines, and then it flexes very significantly. So this is a really, really special one that I super love. I've been really, really enjoying that. So this next one, I would classify this as a soft nib. Les from Stylus would be mad if I tried to classify it as a flex. This is a Leonardo Supernova, super beautiful. It has their 14K elastic extra fine nib, so you can see it has those cutouts on there. It does have an ebonite feed also. So let's say Leonardo, and this is elastic, extra fine, and this one is soft, not flex. It's really easy to write everyday writing with it. These little grids did not turn out the way I thought that they would, but you know, whatever, we're keeping it real. And so I can squeak out just a little bit of line variation on this, but I am not willing to push it because I will get in trouble with Les. But it has a very thin, nice line, and then it can give me a little bit of thicker line variation. So that elastic extra fine in the 14K is soft, not flex. And then we're getting into my very favorite ones. So this is a Cursive Italic. This is also a Leonardo, but this is a Stylosuite. So I'm going to put Leonardo. And this is a medium Italic. I'm going to put CSI X-wing Harpoon. Stylosuite. Stylosuite. If you don't know about Stylosuite, I urge you to find that out. He can be found on Instagram. He's wonderful. So this one is like a CSI in that it gives me thick downs and almost might be out of ink and thin across, but then it lets me do a significant amount of flexing on it. So this one is a flex, not just an extra, or not just a soft. So that is one of my first Stylosuite, the medium X-wing Harpoon Italic. And then this is probably my first Stylosuite that I got. This one is, I haven't opened this one in a long time. Come on, open up, buddy. This is an extra fine. I'm going to put Stylosuite on this one. It's in an Opus 88, but you guys can figure that out. Stylosuite. This is extra fine X-wing Harpoon. So X-wing Harpoon is Les's flex nib. It is flex. You can see there's a significant amount of flex there. And it's very easy to write in everyday writing. And I'll write my word, which I haven't written again in a little while. And you can see that it gives me a significant amount of flex with very thin, and this one also writes in reverse deliciously. So I can write in reverse all the way up to these thick, thick, thick lines. So that's the Stylosuite Extra Fine X-wing Harpoon. And then my favorite pen of the moment, which I fill every couple of days because I use it so much. This is another Stylosuite. This is the last one of this group, the Stylosuite. This is an Edison Collier, and it has a fine, let's see, Stylosuite. This is a fine Italic X-wing Harpoon. It is a flex. It does wonderful everyday writing, especially because I love that CSI thick downs and thin across, but then it lets me get real jiggy with the flourishing, and it also writes in reverse just fine. And so you can get thin lines all the way up to, you know, triple, quadruple broad lines with that. So that is my first tray of Flextravaganza pens. So then this next group has a whole smattering of different types of pens in here. And so I'm going to scoot my little book up a little bit so that I'm going to spill some ink too. Good thing that was closed. I'm going to do these two together. These are both Fountain Pen Revolution Ultraflex nibs. This one's in a Franklin Christoph Pocket 20. So this is FPR Ultraflex. And these are definitely flex, not soft. And we will do a little... You can see that it has a, this is supposed to be extra fine, but you can see compared to some of the extra fine lines I get with some of the other ones, this one doesn't give as much extra fine, but it is very flexible. We'll write my word, lovely. This one's almost out of ink too. And my flourishes. So this one's very soft. What I have learned is that the all stainless steel one versus the two-tone one is a little flexier than the two-tone one. So just for whatever that's worth for you. So there's that one. And then I also have it in one of their pens. And I will say sometimes their pens are a little leaky for me. So this is also the FPR Ultraflex. Come on, dude. I just filled this. Ultraflex. It is a flex. And again, it's supposed to be an extra fine, but you can see that it's so soft that it kind of gives you a medium to broad line to start with. And then it's really, really wet and juicy, so it gives a lot of ink going down on there. But these are really nice, and I think the FPR ones for a budget, if you want to get into flex and you don't want to spend the big bucks, the FPR is a great way to go. You can give those a shot. So now we're going to get into some more unique pens. This is I have a couple Penieders. Maybe I'll do all the Penieders together. I have 3 Penieders. This one is a stub quill nib. Their quill nib is soft. Oh, except for there's no ink in there. Never mind. Okay, so this is the stub. We're not going to write with that one. Let's see if there's ink in this one. This one has maybe a little bit of ink in it. No, it doesn't. I know this one does. We're just going to do one of the quill nibs. So this is a fine... Nope, this one's a medium. This is Penider. I put an ink in here that's a little goopy. Let me see if I can get it flowing again. Come on, bud. Like I said, I should have checked all these and I didn't, and I apologize. So when I come back sometime, I'll do more of these. But these are more soft nibs. The Penieders are more soft nibs than flex nibs. I'm just going to dip that in some water and see if I can get it going again, rather than sticking it in my mouth, which occasionally I do. But Penider, here we go. Penider Quill Nib. This one's a medium, and you can see it is so juicy. And I would say this is, they say it's a flex. I think these are soft. I'm going to show you on my nail. You can see that they're very soft, but they don't have a ton of spring back. So as far as flex is concerned, you don't get the thin lines that you can with some of the others. But it does give some nice line variation. So just for whatever that's worth, that's kind of how the Pineider Quill Nib stands up to some of those. Some of these are a little bleedy. Okay, this is an interesting one that I just got. This is Tom's Studio. They have a couple of different flex nibs options. This one is actually their Proflex option, which has the Zebra G nib on it. Uh-oh, is my, I think my, oh, yep, my thing fell out. My thing, you know, converter, whatever that thing is called. Okay, so this I just got, so I haven't gotten to play with it very much. Like, some of these are real bleedy. That's crazy. All right, so this is Tom's Studio. Tom's Studio. Now this one, I'm sure you can hear, it is very scratchy because it doesn't have any tipping on it. So this is going to feel like it's going to dig into your paper. This is the Proflex. It is a flex, not a soft. And you can do regular writing with it. It comes with very thin lines, and then it also, if you really slow down, you can do some nice flex with it. Like I said, I just got this and haven't gotten to play with it a ton, and so I think the ink is still working its way in there. Overall, it's better than I expected, to be honest. I was kind of like, what's this going to be like? But I like it. I think it's pretty good. So another, oh yeah, see, my converter just popped out again. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at the Tom Studio. They're a little bit persnickety. This is a Gravitas vac filler, and it has in it another Kirk Speer flex nib. This one is called Secretary of Deflex. So this one I haven't used a ton, but it is really nice. Secretary of Deflex. So silly. And it is definitely a flex. It is very wet and juicy, and it does okay on everyday writing if you write really, really lightly. You can see that those are kind of thicker lines. And then when I go to do my lines, it just spews out ink. And so I've not had a lot of luck practicing with this one. I may have Kirk take a look at this one next time I see him, just to make sure that it's like flat to the feet. I may have to reheat set it and stuff, but it's really fun to have, and I'm excited that I have that one. So Kirk Speer, Secretary of Deflex. This one is a platinum 18 karat kind of soft nib, and I just thought I'd show this because it's something that is not on a lot of people's radar, and it's pretty cool. So this is a platinum modern maquille, and it's an 18K soft nib. And so can I get some line variation out of it? You bet, a little bit. And it also writes in reverse. It's designed to do that, and it's really, really smooth in reverse, which is awesome. And so this is just another option for a softer nib if you don't feel comfortable with flex, or you want to try something that's a little soft. That's another option for you. And then let's see, here's a couple vintage. So this is a Maybe Todd Swan pen, and it has, I don't know what they say this nib is. It's sometimes they don't say on vintage. This looks more like a medium, but let's just see. Maybe Todd Swan pen. It is a flex, not a soft, and it does some really nice flourishing. Not a ton of thin lines, but it does do the nice thick lines, so you get some good line variation. But my big beef with these vintage pens is that they're much higher maintenance because the filling system requires a sack, and then the sack has to be changed, and you have to take really good care of it. And so that's just something to consider, that I can get kind of this same sort of flex and this same feeling with some of the more modern pens that are a little easier to take care of. So that's something to consider. And then this is a pen that I got from Nick Pang. This is the Waterman. What is this? It's the 100-year pen by somebody. I can't read it because my eyes are going bad. But I picked this one because it was one that he said he thought was really good. And it was because it does very thin lines and then has a lovely snapback. So this is one that he was talking about, like, he doesn't like the term wet noodle, and because he wants, you want to be able to get those really thin lines up and then thick down, which this one allows for. So that was pretty cool find. As you can see, it's a little ink nib creepy there. But this is the 100-year pen. And I will try to link everything I can for you in the below. It's going to be kind of difficult because some of this stuff isn't available. And like Les at Stylosuite doesn't have a website. So I'll give you as much information as I can. So this is one that I get asked about all the time. This is the Mag 600. And I find this to be like a Ferrari on ice. I find it to be so soft that it's not practical. So if I'm writing with zero pressure, it still is very thick and very wet. And I have to try really hard to do that. Now, does it give good line variation? You bet. It's super soft. But I just don't feel like the snapback is as good as some of the other ones that I have. And so I very rarely reach for this M600. Because it's pretty soft. So for whatever that's worth, I know a ton of people really love the Mag 600, and I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad it works for you. It just hasn't been my very favorite. So that's the Mag 600. Now mine's older, so if you have a newer one, maybe they've changed something, I'm not sure. And I've not reached out to Magna Carta to find out about, I get a lot of railroading in it. It depends, doesn't matter what ink I use. So it could be just that mine has a little problem. And then the last one in today's Flextravaganza is one of my very favorites. This is a Sheaffer Tuckaway. It's so cute. It's this little tiny guy. It looks like a little penguin with his little short clip. And most of these have a different kind of nib, but this one actually has a flex nib on it. And so let me just look at this and see if I can remember how to spell Sheaffer, because I always get it wrong, because I think there's a C in there and there isn't. So this is a Sheaffer Tuckaway, and sometimes they call them Tuckies, which I think is cute. And it is definitely a flex, and it does very thin and very thick going down. Holy, something's falling. But most of these tuckaways are not quite like this. I got this from Peyton Street Pens, and Terry, I think that's Terry's name. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Wrote a little note that said, it's not much to look at, but this nib sure is fun. And it really is. It's very fun to use. And I've shared this with a couple of people, even flex vintage enthusiasts like Pierre Gustafson. And he really liked it. A lot of people really got into this little tuckaway. So I know that was a long video and a lot. So if you have specific questions about any of these, please let me know. As you can see, I am a very avid flex enthusiast, and I have even more around this house that I'm not sure where they are, but these are just the ones that I could lay my hands on right away, and I just wanted to share a bunch of them with you. Which ones of these do you want to see a full flexploration on? What are the ones that are most interesting to you? Which ones do you think you would want to own? Let me know. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. We're doing flexy stuff over here. Hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Pen News.